Hello and welcome to Japanese in 5, where we take 5 minutes out of your busy day. 5 minutes is not a lot of time, but how do you tell time in Japanese? That's what we're going to do in this 5 minutes. This is the basic lesson, and then after this, in the next Japanese in 5, we'll have a little bit of advanced time telling. First, we're going to start with how to just tell regular time. To do this, you need to know the numbers 1 through 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know the pattern, all the way up to 60. And we'll start with hours, which you'll only need 1 through 12. Okay, so you're going to need 1 through 12, and this particular word right here, ji. Ji means o'clock, basically. You know another word that uses ji? It is jikan, which means time. Okay, so let's look at the first combination. You take a number, ichi, which means 1, and you add ji to make 1 o'clock. Now, it's important to know that in English, when you say, what time is it? You can answer with just the number. We always do, almost always. We say, for example, hey, what time is it? We say, it's 1. But in Japanese, you must say it's 1 o'clock using the ji. Ichiji desu. It's 1 o'clock. Okay, then we have, I'm just going to go through these because there's a couple special exceptions. Niji, sanji. Here's our first exception is yoji. Yoji is never, ever, ever yonji, and it's never shiji, ever in any case. It's always yoji. Some of you might ask, why? The answer is because. There is no reason, just know that historically it is now yoji. All right? Next one is goji, rokuji. Didn't come up yet, did it? I think I had goji in there twice, because that's my favorite time, I guess. That's when you get off work. Rokuji, 6 o'clock. Here's a special one. 7 o'clock is always shijiji. Except, normally in everyday conversation, you cannot say nanaji. You will say shiji. But you will possibly take an airplane from Japan to America, or America to Japan, or from wherever, when you're on an international flight and the crew, the Japanese crew, is telling you what time it is when you arrive, they will say in many cases, if it is 7 o'clock, nanaji. Because nanaji is easy to hear versus shiji, which sounds like ichiji. So you could mistakenly hear 1 o'clock. So the sound, I have heard crews do this before, they will say nanaji. All right, next one, hachiji, 8 o'clock. Kuji. Now, even though there's 2 ways to say 9, you never would say kyuji. You would not say kyuji. You will say kuji, 9 o'clock. 10 o'clock is juji. 11 o'clock is juichiji. And the final one, 12 o'clock, is juniji. Now, you can do beyond that. If you want to do military time, you can do jusanji and niju sanji if you want to. But typically, Japanese people in their everyday life don't use this. In America, we're a much more militaristic kind of a thing. We're very in tune with our military. So we'll say, hey, all right, I'll see you at 2400, or I'll see you at 1400. That's how sometimes we talk. But Japanese people typically don't do that because that's strictly military. If you want to say it's half past the hour, you can use this next character. It's han. Han, that means half. If you hear han anywhere after a number, it's half of whatever that number was. For example, if you want 1.5 of something, you could say ikko han, 1 ko han, all right? Same thing with time. You just say niji han, 2:30. Or, don't get tricked, yoji han, never yonji, never shichi, just yoji han. All right, now let's look at the minutes. The minutes get a little bit tricky because, as you know, when you're learning Japanese, when you've learned any kanji, you know that a lot of times kanji can be read in multiple ways depending on how it's used in the word. This is the kanji for minute, and it also means portion. It's literally a portion of time. It's the minute portion of time. But so you'll see this in a lot of words. Matter of fact, you might see a word hanbun, which means half portion. It's kind of an interesting thing, using that same character we just had. Okay, so this can be read hun, pun, or bun. Now, the good news is we're not going to use this reading. We're only going to use these two, but there's a pattern, kind of a pattern. You have to know when to use pun and when to use fun. Now, if you screw this up, you're going to be okay. Over time, you're going to remember it anyway. But the minutes go like this. 1分, 2分, 3分, 4分, 5分, 6分, 7分, 8分、9分、10分. You'll notice that it's every other one changes except for 3 and 4, they continue. Everything else is a change after. That might help you out, that it goes yellow, right? PF, PPF, PF, PFP. Okay? That is kind of an easy way to remember it, kind of, but there's a better way to remember it. Kind of look at it like this. Maybe this will help you out. It's basically all the odds, okay? Or I'm sorry, screw that. All the odds doesn't work. Screw that idea. I have a better idea for you to remember. Remember that 10, here's a joke. 10 Jews walk into a bar. No pun intended. Put that in your brain. That's kind of a mnemonic to remember. Jew are there. You can use that in a pun because it's a similar sound. And you want to go have fun because most of the time when we speak in it's 5:10, it's 5:15, we round. We round anything that ends in a 5 or anything that ends in a 10. In that case, just remember pun and fun to start and you'll be very happy. Now let's put all the times together. The way you do it is you just say the time, the hour, and then the minute. In English, remember, we can say this in English is 101, but in Japanese, you cannot just do that. You have to have the ji and you have to have the pun. So, 1時1分, 1時1分, 2時2分, and 3時3分. And you know where we're going, 4時4分. Again, keep in mind, that's 4時, that's not 4分. You must have the N. And also, it's never 4分, ever. It has to be 4分, okay? And this is what I was just talking about. Remember, go have some fun. Go have some fun. 5分. That's your hint to remember that. And 10 Jews walk into a bar. No pun intended. If you want to learn more Japanese, you can purchase the Japanese from Zero book directly from Amazon, or if you live anywhere outside of the United States, you can get free shipping to anywhere in the world at this wrong spelled website, no S required. It's not Book Depository, it's Book Depository. Sorry for the typo. Go to bookdepository.com, look up the book, and you can ship it for free to any country, including the Philippines and other countries that typically, up until now, I have not had a place to send you any book from. You can do it now. Or if you don't have any money, please go to yesjapan.com and you can take the course for free. See you all next on the Japanese in 5 or so minutes. Bye bye.